Humans of the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today, we need to go over Crystal Beasts, okay? We got the structure deck announced last night, but here's what we got to do. We got to go through, we got to look at all the Crystal Beast cards we have right now and figure out what the deck's missing, what we want to see from this structure deck, because this is one of those decks that fan favorite archetype, played by a fan favorite character in the anime, cool designs, but has never been competitively relevant, even slightly, even on a rogue level. Like never. It's never been like anything respectable. So hopefully we'll get there. That's all I want. I want to explain that to people. That's all I want. I don't need this deck to be tier 1. I just want this deck to be a somewhat respectable rogue deck. Like, oh, this deck needs to be able to do something decent consistently. That's all I need. So let's get into this. We got to go over what they have first before we can talk about what they're missing. Starting off with the monsters, Crystal Beast Sapphire Pegasus is by far and away the best Crystal Beast. When it's summoned, you just place a Crystal Beast into your spell and trap zone. Cool. It's kind of an engine card, but doesn't really do anything by itself. That's what the deck needs. It's like payoff for like him. We'll talk about that later. Next up, we have Ruby Carbuncle. This is the only other relevant Crystal Beast monster. Not joking. When it's special summoned, she can special summon as many Crystal Beast monsters as possible from your spell and trap zones. That's pretty good. It can just help you flood the field, essentially do like a pendulum summon there. Pretty good. It's a cool extender piece for sure. We have two pendulum monsters that are really interesting. Master's by far and away the better one, but Keeper gives you protection from destruction in the pendulum scale, whereas Master gives you targeting protection in scale, and on field you can actually tribute it to add either an ultimate crystal, a crystal beast, or a crystal spell or trap. It's pretty good, honestly. And also the fact that they just become crystal monsters in your spell and trap zone in the scale gives them a weird synergy in the deck for sure. Main deck boss monsters, you have Rainbow Dragon. This card is just so hard to summon, and that's the biggest problem. It needs 7 different named Crystal Beast monsters on field or in grave. That's just too many. I don't care how powerful the card's effect is. If that is the requirement to get it on field, the deck sucks. I mean, it could have the best boss monster we've ever seen in Yu-Gi-Oh! And it wouldn't matter because it's so hard to get to. Consistency is the name of the game. You have to be able to get to this easily and without problem. And you don't get to it easily, and there's plenty of problems that could go wrong before then. So definitely too mediocre for me. This guy's not even that good. He's just like an extender. He says like if a Crystal Beast monster like battles, he jumps out of hand. It's fine. It's whatever. This card's whatever. Rainbow Overdragon. This card actually is interesting. So this card says that it takes 7 Crystal Beast monsters as fusion material, but not necessarily, because it says it must either be fusion summoned or special summoned by tributing a level 10 ultimate crystal monster already on field. And then it has 2 other effects. Once per turn, you can like banish a Crystal Beast to gain its attack till the end of the turn. And the other effect is a quick effect to tribute this fusion summon card to just shuffle all cards on the field into the deck. The one question I have here is if this card has to tribute an ultimate crystal monster to summon itself, I don't know if that counts as a fusion summon. I don't think it has that clause where it says that this counts as a fusion summon. And so because of that, I don't even think it can activate this effect because it says tribute this fusion summoned card. So pretty much the one effect that makes this card worth, I don't even think you can use unless you're fusing 7 Crystal Beasts for it. Which is horrible. That's so bad. So yeah, in theory it could be interesting, but no. Next up here we get to the spell and traps. And this is the only place that I think the deck makes its money at all. These are the only like decent cards in any way, shape, or form. Crystal Bond, this card is awesome. Add a Crystal Beast from deck to hand and place a second Crystal Beast in your spell and trap zone. That is insanely good value, especially if Konami gives us newer, updated Crystal Beasts. This card becomes an amazing starter for the deck. This is probably the single best card in the deck, actually. Rainbow Bridge, also really good. Non-once per turn, add 1 crystal spell or trap from deck to hand. Wait, I didn't even... This one is a once per turn, but Rainbow Bridge is not. So this is also probably a 3 of because it can just add you Bond or any other one. So this card still kind of just searches you anything in the deck anyway. Really good. This one's definitely like really good as well. Rare value. This is like a bad draw spell. I don't know. It's mainly a bad draw spell because it doesn't have crystal in the name. So it's not searchable by any means, really. So it says if you have 2 or more Crystal Beasts in your spell and trap zone, your opponent sends 1 to the graveyard and then you draw 2 cards. Decent, but again, I don't want to have to hard play this and hope I just hard draw it with a hand that can load up the spell and trap zone. It's just mediocre. Crystal Abundance, also like it just asks too much. You have to send 4 Crystal Beasts from your spell and trap zones to the graveyard to wipe the whole field. Then you can reborn Crystal Beasts up to the number of monsters you wiped off your opponent's field. It's powerful, but it's so hard to set up. I probably don't even want to play this as a one-of, because I'm just like, if I draw this, like it is 100% just dead unless the rest of my hand is gas. You don't want those kind of cards. I want cards that let me play. This doesn't let me play. This just only lets me play even harder, assuming I already can play. Horrible. Crystal Beacon is interesting. It just lets you summon a Crystal Beast straight from deck, but you do have to have 2 Crystal Beast cards in your spell and trap zone already to activate it. So the requirement isn't as bad. I could see this card being part of certain combos, depending on where they go with the new support, where like this is searchable, you set up 2 in your spell and trap zone, and then you search this, summon out a Carbuncle, and then Carbuncle summon the 2 out of spell and trap zone. So there's definitely some cool stuff here, but it's not like a legit awesome extender, because it does take a good amount of setup there, but still interesting. Next up is Crystal Blessing. This just lets you grab 2 Crystal Beasts from grave and put them in your spell and trap zone. If you can get it set up, that could be cool. But again, like, I want cards that not only just place, but also do other things. If you're just placing in your spell and trap zone, you're kind of just -1ing, because none of the Crystal Beasts actually have effects once they're in the spell and trap zone. So they're kind of just like blank cards, blank continuous spells at that point. And so if you don't have other cards to help make value out of those cards that you're placing, like, it's not doing much, but it still could be part of a combo. Same thing as the other one. So it's interesting. Crystal Promise, target a Crystal Beast in your spell and trap zone, special summon it. This card actually seems like a pretty good extender. Not once per turn. Cool. Like, you know what I mean? Pegasus, place 1, summon it out. That's a link 2. Maybe the deck gets a busted link 1 or link 2. That lets you go places, you know? Crystal Tree, this card, again, is just a card that helps you fill up your Crystal Beast cards into your spell and trap zone. It's mediocre at best. Probably not playable, though. Crystal Release, bad equip spell, to be honest. You equip it to a Crystal Beast, and when it's sent to grave, you can place a Crystal Beast from deck into your spell and trap zone. It only places 1. It's just not strong enough, I don't think. And then the last spell is Rainbow Ruins. This is the field spell for the deck. It's interesting. I'm just not sure how well we're going to be able to abuse it. So it's one of those weird effects where it has 5 different effects, and you gain them based on how many current Crystal Beast monsters you have in your spell and trap zones. So if you have 1, this card can't be destroyed by card effects. 2, once per turn you take half battle damage. 3, send a Crystal Beast monster you control to the grave to negate a spell or trap. That's actual disruption. That's actually not terrible. But you do still have to, 1, have 3 different Crystal Beasts in your spell and trap zone and a monster on field, and send that monster to negate. So it does kind of take a lot. 4th effect, once per turn during the main phase, draw a card. So at least if you get there, you're starting to actually plus off of this and get back advantage. And 5, you can just target a Crystal Beast card in your spell and trap zone and special summon it. So it just gets a monster extension there. Interesting card. If you can get set up into it really quickly, then I think it's interesting, but it was just bad because you couldn't even get up into this situation until like turn 3 or 4. It just took way too long. So very okay to leave this probably alone, unless the deck can facilitate it like crazy. Next up for the traps, Conclave. This is probably the best one. When it's face up, if any Crystal Beast is destroyed, you can special summon a Crystal Beast monster from deck. Cool. And the second one, the more important one, is you can send this face-up card from the field to the graveyard to target a Crystal Beast card you control and another card on the field, and bounce them both. Pretty good compulse-ish disruption, and it's a crystal card, so it is searchable. Pretty nice. Crystal Raigeki, kind of just Trident. Send a Crystal Beast from your spell and trap zone to the grave, pop a card. Not the worst thing in the world. If it's super easy to get and searchable and easy, then like, cool. It's a Trident, we'll take it. And then this card is like kind of insane. Yeah, this is the last one. This card's kind of insane. It's a new card that got announced in the OCG. It pretty much says engrave. The first effect is like almost never going to come up, so we'll ignore that. The second effect says from grave, it can banish itself to add a Crystal Beast monster and any field spell in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Which is like kind of crazy. But yeah, it can search Ancient Ruins, or maybe they get an updated version of Ancient Ruins that's a little bit better. That way it has synergy with this card, but all you have to do is get engrave, and then you can just banish it and get 2 searches. That's so crazy. especially if we get better Crystal Beast monsters as well. So there you go. That's all the cards the deck has. The deck actually has a lot of cards available so far. And I think the biggest flaws are by far and away the monsters. I've already mentioned this. The fact that Pegasus and Carbuncle are the only monsters that have effects that actually are relevant, and none of the other ones have any respectable effects whatsoever, is really a bummer. So we definitely need to see maybe some better main deck Crystal Beasts. Maybe they get revamped versions of the other ones. Maybe they just make new ones. There needs to be something going on here, because I just hope they don't force us to play a deck where we have to play all of them. You know what I mean? Because we need to be able to put different names up somewhere. And so we have to play the turtle. We have to play the mammoth. We have to play the cat. We have to play the tiger. You have to play eagle. Like, we don't want to have to play those, right? Because they're awful. Unless the deck has like a busted Link 1. That's the only situation where I could see that being okay, is that they get a Link 1 that's like kind of cracked. And so, yeah, I mean, we'll see. That's the other thing I want to say is, like, Links seem the best way to go, but there's other routes as well. But if they got a really good Link 1, that would help a lot of problems with the deck. If they got a decent Link 2, that could also help. So I don't know. Like, it means 2-card combos would really help. Like I mentioned before, though, I could also see like a contact fusion boss monster being the way to go. I mean, I think about Thunder Dragon Colossus and how easy it is to summon. They seem to want to make this deck fusion based, if anything, from the extra deck. What if they got a new like contact fusible monster that says tribute a Crystal Beast on field and in the spell and trap zone, send them to grave, and then get out this guy, and maybe he has a pretty decent, you know, effect, you know, ABC Dragon Buster, Thunder Dragon Colossus-esque. It needs to be close to those in power if they really want to make the deck playable, but as long as it's like decently reachable, one on field, one in the spell and trap zone, then the deck may actually have a future. And other than that, like, the deck just feels like it doesn't flow. There's no plays to be had. You're not making legit plays. You're just like, oh, I saw this utility card, now I use this utility card. The deck doesn't really flow from one into the other. I mean, maybe if they get a Link 1 that searches a crystal card, or a Link 2 that like helps you summon from deck and just like get out a bunch of bodies. I mean, the other thing that's really cool here is that there are no restrictions. There's like no restrictions anywhere in this entire archetype. So combining with other stuff is cool. The trap card searches any field spell. Maybe you get a searching field spell to get you another engine. I don't know. Maybe you're able to take advantage of like generic Link monsters, because the deck doesn't lock you out of anything. And if the deck just becomes good at using like Carbuncle to like churn out 2 or 3 more Crystal Beasts, maybe we're just making Appaloosa boards, maybe we're making IP Masquerena boards, something like that. I don't know. But there's definitely potential here. And I think the biggest thing is this is a structure deck. We're going to get 5 to 8 maybe new cards, and that's a great position to be in. I just hope Konami doesn't get too anime with it, and it's fine if they want to keep like Rainbow Dragon in the deck as like something playable, but like, it already hurts, right? There's a reason why Dark Magician and Blue Eyes are like cool, fun rogue decks, but like are bad even among rogue decks, and that's because not only do you want to play bricks to play powerful engines anyway, their deck already includes hella bricks in the form of the name of the deck, Dark Magician or Blue Eyes. So we don't really want to have to play Rainbow Dragon, but we will if we have to. I just hope it's not too integral where we have to play like a ton of names and they don't really do anything when you draw them. That's the thing. Is if we have a Link 1, I don't mind if we have to play one of all the other Crystal Beasts, because you go normal summon, make a Link 1. If it's Trap Trick Sarah-esque, Magical Musketeer Max-esque in terms of power, then I'm okay with that. But they need to be that strong, and they need to make it so that just normal summoning those are just actually giving you enough value. But we'll see. We will certainly see. That's pretty much going to do it for today, guys. Let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts. What do you want to see for Crystal Beasts? I mean, we're a ways away before they start revealing stuff, but I mean, I like Crystal Beasts. I've never been the biggest fan of them, because ever since the first time I read them, I was like, oh, they don't do anything. But if they do something, I like the mechanic. I like the way they work. We just need to see like a legit payoff, a legit way to play the deck that actually is meaningful, and we'll see. We will certainly see. So that's going to do it for me today, guys. Sorry if this video got a little longer than normal, but Crystal Beast has so many cards. Like, they actually have gotten a ton of support over the years, and they still suck. But hopefully this is the one. Hopefully this is the one. I'll catch you in the next one, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Peace.